Hi, I'm glad you could join me today for prayer and reflection. Today we're in Esther 3, and two phrases stuck out to me as I was reading through the chapter. One was, did not bow down, and the other one is a decree for destruction. So let's break down what happened. Haman, one of the advisors to the king, has a law decreed by the king that people must bow down to him. And Mordecai refuses to bow down. And people let Haman know that this has happened. And so Haman, instead of just getting mad at Mordecai, decided to punish his entire people and gets the king to pass a law that this people that refuse to bow down, even though we only have the instance of Mordecai doing so, this people must be destroyed, killed, gotten rid of. Their destruction is necessary. Both of those images stick with me as we navigate our way through the world today. So I thought we would spend time with those images. So I invite you to close your eyes and to shake out the tension and to breathe in deeply a few times, releasing your breath. And I invite you to just rest in the presence, the love, the power of the Creator. Rest in the stillness and quiet of God. God of compassion and justice, we turn to you today thinking about decrees of destruction. We think about governments who have turned against some of their people. We particularly think about Israel and how there is such starvation happening amongst the Palestinian people under their control. We think about the decrees of destructions closer to home. Those decrees allowing people to be locked up, to be grabbed off the street, to be chosen because of their skin color, their ethnicity, because they don't have the papers you're supposed to have. God, we ask you to think about and be with us in those places of destruction. We think about the island of Tuvalu, where the government had to decide with the people to begin the evacuation of their entire people from their country, because the island will be covered in the rising ocean tides. The destruction of a people because we aren't willing to change, to transform, to hold accountable our corporate entities, our utilities, our governments that refuse to act on climate change. We think about those decrees of destruction that are harming so many people. Governments and nations that have decided one group of people does not fit or belong and have sought to get rid of them, often through any means necessary. So we lift up the normal places that we think about when we think about this. We think about Ukraine and Palestine. We think about the Sudan and Congo. We think about Myanmar. Holy One, in those places with decrees of destruction, we ask you to send your Redeemer, to send your people like Mordecai, who refused to bow down. We lift up those people who refused to bow down. I think this week of those rabbis blocking that street in New York City outside the Israeli consulate, morally speaking their truth, that their faith calls them to care for the stranger, to feed the hungry. And so they sat to say enough killing, enough starvation. And we think of the people in Togo who went to the streets to protest the expansion of presidential term limits so that the president didn't have to relinquish power. And we think of those teenagers in Israel burning their draft papers because they refused to fight in the war that they watch, the massive destruction of people. God, we ask you to continue to inspire people to stand up and not bow down, to challenge unjust laws and decrees. Surround those people who refuse to bow down. When they are in danger, be present with them. Holy One, in this world where there are so many decrees for destruction, where there are also so many refusals to bow down, we are thankful for your word that reminds us that this happens again and again, but we do change. We do transform. We do struggle to become a new people, a better people, a people in line with your word, in line with your love. And Holy One, we stop just for this moment to lift up the prayers of our hearts to you, those personal prayers. God, into those prayers, we ask that your love come. May you enfold them, bring healing. May you comfort them in grief. May you sustain them in hardship. And we ask that your will be done here on earth. Amen.